My name is Alina, I am 26 years old, and today, my brother told me to go fix computers where you belong. It happened during the shareholders' meeting, the kind of room where arrogance feels like perfume and silence feels like armor. Cole, my brother, stood at the head of the table, sleeves rolled up, playing the role of a genius heir. When I tried to share my report, he smirked and said, "Leave finances to us. Alina, stick to tech. You're good at plugging things in." Everyone laughed. Dad nodded approvingly. Mom smiled that sharp smile that always hides embarrassment behind elegance. Only Uncle Victor, sitting quietly with his worn leather notebook, looked uncomfortable. Break time equals to South greater than if you're watching this. Drop a comment, hit like and subscribe, because what happened next didn't just change my family, it changed who I became. I closed my laptop slowly, watching them laugh. The same people who used my ideas, my data models, my late-night audits, and claimed them as team efforts. Cole tapped his pen against the table. "We'll handle the transfer after lunch," he said smugly. That's when the door opened. A bank executive entered, pressed suit, briefcase in hand. He looked around, scanning for someone in charge. "Apologies for the interruption," he said. "We just need the majority owner to authorize the transfer." Laughter faded like a light dimming. Dad's expression hardened. Mom straightened in her seat, whispering, "Your father handles all major approvals." The executive frowned. "I'm afraid the file lists another name. Break time equals to South greater than." Cole leaned forward. The man opened his folder, turned it toward the table, and my name was printed at the top. Alina Harris, majority owner, 52%. For a second, nobody moved. Even the projector hum stopped sounding real. I folded my hands and smiled softly. Guess I'll handle the transfer after all. But I didn't know then. This signature would uncover something far darker than their mockery. The bank executive slid the authorization form toward me. Pens rattled, eyes burned holes. I kept my breathing even. Dad's voice came first, low and dangerous. "This is a misunderstanding. Elena was just helping with paperwork during my recovery." The executive checked his tablet. "Ownership transfer occurred 18 months ago, ratified by the bylaws amendment and a sweat equity clause. It's valid." Mom adjusted her bracelet like it could rearrange reality. "Sweetheart, you don't know how these things work. Sign where your father tells you." Uncle Victor cleared his throat. "Celeste, the numbers know how these things work." His notebook lay open, columns of tidy figures like a quiet rebellion. I signed. The line of ink felt like a door locking behind me and another opening. Break time equals to South. They wanted to know how, so I told them. When Dad had surgery, I rebuilt the compliance stack. I audited every vendor, every transfer, every strategic loss. In that time, I logged 2,400 hours on company systems. My compensation clause converted into equity. Nobody read the addendum. Cole scoffed. "So you hid behind fine print." I met his smirk. "I documented what you ignored." Flashback. Cole posturing in investor dinners while I stayed late reconciling vendor APIs. Flashback. Mom praising family unity while authorizing private club dues on corporate cards. Flashback. Dad calling misreported expenses learning curves as I patched the holes. Back in the room. The air felt brittle. The executive nodded, satisfied. "Funds will clear once the majority owner approves multi-factor on the Treasury portal." Cole barked a laugh. "Multi-factor? She can fix Wi-Fi. I'll handle finance security." I typed 3 The wall screen lit up. Treasury portal, access log, user roles. I demoted his admin in a single click. The system chimed, access revoked. Cole Harris, silence. Then Dad slammed his palm on the table. "You don't embarrass this family in public." I closed my laptop gently. "You embarrassed yourselves in private for years. Public is just an echo." Uncle Victor's pen stopped moving. He watched me like someone who'd waited a long time to see the ending change. Mom leaned forward, voice honeyed and sharp. "Authorize the transfer. Alina, be a good daughter." I looked at the executive. "Cue the audit ledger while we move the funds." He blinked. "Audit ledger." I nodded. "Transparency effective now." I thought the room couldn't get colder until the first red flag popped onto the screen. The red warning banners blinked across the screen one by one. Authorized transfers, phantom vendors, invoices that didn't exist. Dad lunged for the keyboard. "Stop this display before anyone sees it." I held his wrist. "Too late, Dad. The board's already linked in. The audit feeds are live." Cole's voice cracked. "You went behind our backs." "No," I said. "I went through the front door you left unlocked." Break time equals to south. A week earlier, I'd uploaded every ledger to the compliance cloud. I had watched patterns form like Bruce's round number withdrawals, offshore routing codes, the same initials in every trail. C.H. Cole Harris, my brother. Mom's lips trembled. You're mistaken, Alina. Your brother wouldn't steal. Uncle Victor flipped a page in his notebook. She's not mistaken. I flagged those entries last quarter. Someone deleted my alerts. Dad turned on him. You knew. Victor met his glare. I warned you. You laughed. Flashback. 2 years ago, I'd handed Cole a flash drive containing new encryption keys. He grinned, pocketed it, and said, "Relax, little sis. I'll make the system idiot-proof." Now I realized he'd only proved which idiot. The projector filled the room with crimson. Text. Fraud detected, account number 2043. Cole lunged at me. You think this makes you powerful? I stayed seated. No, it makes me accountable. Dad's face drained of color. Do you know what happens if regulators see this? Yes, I whispered. They'll finally see me. Uncle Victor closed his notebook and rose. I'll accompany her to the bank. I looked at him, grateful. The only one who'd believe my numbers, not my gender. Mom's voice broke. Alina, please, keep this within the family. I met her eyes. That's what you always said when he lied, when you covered it, when I stayed silent. Not this time. The executive re-entered, uneasy. Miss Harris, do we proceed with the transfer? I nodded. Yes, and forward the audit to federal compliance. Dad's chair slammed back. You'll destroy us. I shut the laptop. No, Dad. I'm rebooting us. The reports sent, and within minutes, 3 black sedans pulled into the parking lot, through the glass wall. I watched the black sedans slide into the parking lot's leak, silent and final. The air changed. Even the hum of the projector seemed to fade into heartbeat noise. Dad's hand trembled around his phone. Who called them? The bank executive swallowed. You did, sir. The compliance request automatically triggered a federal review. They're from the Financial Integrity Bureau. Mom gasped, covering her mouth. Cole stood frozen, eyes darting toward me like a trapped animal. Alina, he hissed. Turn it off. Whatever this is, and do it. I looked at him, calm. You told me to stick to tech. I did. I secured it. Break time equals to south. The doors opened. 2 agents walked in, professional, unreadable. Good morning, one said. We're here regarding the reported irregularities in the Harris consolidated accounts. Dad started talking fast. This is a misunderstanding. Our system's been compromised. One agent raised a brow. Compromised by your daughter. Cole stepped in. She's unstable. She's making things up for attention. I smiled softly. Then maybe you should explain why your name appears on every flagged transfer. Uncle Victor handed the agent his notebook. All her numbers check out. Every cent aligns. Mom tried to interrupt, her voice breaking. She's tearing this family apart. No, Victor said quietly. She's the only one holding it together. Flashback. The night before my father's surgery, he clasped my hand and whispered, "Keep the company alive." Alina, he never thought I'd take that promise literally. The agents collected documents, thanked me for my cooperation, and escorted Dad and Cole out for questioning. Mom followed, protesting through tears. When the door finally closed, silence filled the space again. Only Uncle Victor remained, eyes damp, voice trembling. You could have destroyed them publicly. You chose paperwork instead. I exhaled. Paperwork leaves scars that never heal. He nodded slowly. You're your grandmother's child. I smiled faintly. She taught me to fix systems, not burn them. But as I turned off the projector, my phone buzzed a message from an unknown number. You're not done yet. Check the offshore ledger. The message pulsed on my screen. Check the offshore ledger. No name, no number. Just a warning. I frowned. The audit should have pulled everything, unless Uncle Victor saw my expression. What is it? I showed him the message. His brows furrowed. There shouldn't be any offshore accounts left. I reopened my laptop, heart pounding harder than I wanted to admit. The Treasury interface blinked awake, dozens of files scrolling by. Then one line glowed red. Account 99X74B, registered. Celeste Holdings. Mom, single quotes, S name. Break time equals to self, greater than. I clicked. A labyrinth of numbers unfolded. Transfers routed through shell companies, false vendor payments, hidden under consulting services, and the total 8 figures. Uncle Victor whispered, "My God." I looked at him. She moved it quietly while everyone blamed Cole. Flashback. 3 months ago, Mom had taken a short spa retreat in Monaco. She'd returned with new jewelry, new contacts, and new excuses. Now it made sense. I heard footsteps echo down the corridor. Mom was back. Alina, she said, too gently. We need to talk. Her tone was honey and threat mixed together. You've done enough damage, she continued, but you can still fix this. Delete what you found, and we'll move forward. I'll make sure you're comfortable. I stared at her. Comfortable, she nodded. I can transfer some shares, say 5%, enough for independence. The rest, we'll handle as a family. Uncle Victor's voice broke the stillness. Celeste, she found your offshore account. Mom's eyes snapped toward him. You senile old man, stay out of this. I stood. It's over, Mom. The Bureau will see this too. She stepped closer, voice trembling now. You'd hand your own mother to investigators. I whispered. You already handed me to silence years ago. Break time equals to south, greater than. Her lips parted, but no words came. For the first time, she looked human. Then my phone buzzed again. The same unknown sender. You missed one more account. Look under your own name. My fingers froze above the keyboard. Look under your own name. Uncle Victor leaned forward. What does that mean? I didn't answer. My throat tightened. I opened the ledger again. Typing E. Harris. One result appeared. A hidden subsidiary account. Account 11Z22C. Opened. 2021. Deposits recurring. Source. Unknown. My heart skipped. I'd never seen this. Never authorized it. Yet it was real. Break time equals to south. Greater than. Mom's voice trembled. See, even she's involved. You're no saint, Alina. I ignored her, digging deeper into the metadata. Transaction source. Technology consulting. Contracted. Linked address. My old university office. That's when I understood. Cole had used my credentials. He'd funneled money through fake contracts under my name, knowing that if things ever went wrong, I'd take the fall. I exhaled sharply. He forged my digital ID. Uncle Victor's eyes widened. Then those accounts, the missing $500,000, were pinned to me. I finished. Flashback. 2 years ago, Cole had asked for my system login just for a quick software sync. I'd trusted him. He'd cloned my signature key. And now, after all these years of silence, the trap was still active, waiting to ruin me, just as I finally exposed them. Mom smirked weakly. Maybe you're not as innocent as you think. Her tone was broken glass, dressed as grace. I turned to Uncle Victor. Get me a clean network. I'm tracing it back. He handed me his laptop, offline, old, secure. Within minutes, I pulled up encrypted logs. Every transfer from the fake Alina account pointed to one destination: Cole's shadow wallet. I felt something inside me harden. He hadn't just mocked me, he'd planned my downfall. Uncle Victor whispered, we can still fix this quietly. I shook my head. No more quiet. He taught me that silence only protects the guilty. I attached the proof, hit send, and forwarded everything to the Bureau's forensic division. Break time equals to south, greater than. The message confirmed. Evidence received. Investigation expanded. But as I leaned back in relief, my screen flickered and a live security feed popped up showing Cole inside the server room. The grainy feed showed Cole pacing inside the server room, sleeves rolled up, fury carved into his face. He was deleting something. Lines of code vanished across the mirrored monitor behind him. Access logs, financial trails, maybe even the evidence I'd just sent. Uncle Victor gasped. He's trying to wipe the mainframe. I grabbed my phone, dialing security. Locked down the lower floor now. Static crackled. Then a voice on the other end. Already on it, Ms. Harris. Break time equals to south. Through the feed, I watched the glass doors seal automatically. Cole spun. Realizing he was trapped, he pounded on the door, shouting inaudible curses, before spotting the camera. His glare met mine through the screen. Turn it off, Alina, he mouthed. You'll destroy everything. I whispered to myself. No, Cole, you already did. I began remote retrieval. The system word, pulling backups from encrypted cloud drives. Every file he tried to erase reappeared in real time, my code protecting itself like armor. Flashback. Years earlier, I had built a failsafe after one of his accidental deletions. Dad had laughed then, saying, your paranoia will ruin teamwork. Now, that paranoia was saving truth itself. The door opened behind me. Mom, mascara smudged, voice cracking. Please stop this, Alina. He's still your brother. I didn't look away from the screen. No, Mom. He stopped being my brother when he turned my name into a liability. Cole sank against the glass, watching the servers flicker and die around him. He knew it was over. Uncle Victor whispered. They'll be arrested by nightfall. I nodded. I don't need their punishment, just their silence. Then, the phone rang again. The bureau chief, Ms. Harris, he said. We've received confirmation. Full cooperation noted. You just saved hundreds of jobs. And the company. I closed my eyes, exhaling. Thank you, I whispered. But relief was heavier than victory, because power, once taken, never feels like peace. That night, as I left the office, one final envelope waited on my desk, sealed, handwritten, and signed, from Dad. The envelope sat alone on my desk, creamed paper. My name, written in my father's handwriting. For a moment, I just stared at it. It felt like the last remnant of a family name I had already buried. I opened it carefully. Inside was a short note. Alina, if you're reading this, the damage is done. Maybe you think you've won. But remember, power eyes. One day, you'll need the same forgiveness you refused to give. Dad, I folded it back in silence. Break time equals to south. Greater than forgiveness. It was such a convenient word for those who never apologized. The city lights outside shimmered against the window. The building, once a monument to their arrogance, now answered to transparency, not pride. Uncle Victor entered quietly, holding a mug of tea. He placed it beside me. You did it, he said softly. The bureau closed the case. The accounts are frozen. The company's safe. I nodded, staring at the skyline. It doesn't feel like winning, Uncle Victor. He smiled gently. That's how you know it's justice, not revenge. Flashback. Grandma once told me, the loudest strength is the one that never raises its voice. I hadn't understood it then. But tonight, in this empty room of glass and ghosts, I did. I took one last look at the folder on my desk. Ownership, 52%. Compliance head, Alina Harris. The same title they used to laugh at now defined their legacy. I whispered, go fix computers, huh, and smiled to myself. Because I'd fixed the system they corrupted. Break time equals to south. Greater than before leaving. I slipped Dad's letter into the archive cabinet under lessons. Not for memory, for record. As the lights dimmed and the glass doors closed behind me, I realized something simple but profound. I didn't take their empire, I just made it honest enough to survive me. If you've ever been underestimated, share your story in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe, because sometimes, the quietest revenge is just truth that finally speaks. They laughed at my code, I rewrote their fate.